Hi everyone, my name is Davika Serafin. This is a presentation for Special Ed 602 with Dr. Levy at Touro College for the summer of 2012. I will be doing my presentation on an autism spectrum disorder called Asperger's syndrome. What do those words mean? Autism spectrum disorder, a brain development disorder commonly diagnosed before age 3 with impairments primarily in social interaction, communication, and restrictive and repetitive behavior. DSM-4. This is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the 4th edition. It lists the different categories of mental disorders and the criteria for diagnosing them. Common names for the Asperger's syndrome is AS, Asperger's syndrome, or Asperger's. What is Asperger's syndrome? An autism spectrum disorder that affects language and communication skills. Children with AS have trouble reading facial expressions and people's gestures. They find it difficult to identify and express their feelings. They may also have a hard time connecting to other people, such as classmates. According to the DSM-4, Asperger's syndrome must fit the following criteria: qualitative impairment in reciprocal social interaction, qualitative impairment in communication, restricted, repetitive, and stereotyped patterns of behavior, interests, and activities. Who does it affect? Over 400,000 families are affected by Asperger's syndrome. It is estimated that 2 out of every 10,000 children have been diagnosed with the disorder. Asperger's syndrome affects boys more often than girls. Asperger's syndrome is usually diagnosed between the ages of 5 and 9. Common signs of Asperger's syndrome: peculiar mannerisms, such as odd speech patterns. They may sound like little professors. Few facial expressions and difficulty reading others' body language. Unusual sensitivity to light, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Obsessions with a single topic, such as music, dinosaurs, cars, or the mechanics of a toaster. A need for routines, rituals, and consistency, such as a familiar morning routine. Lack of common sense and an inability to identify social cues. What are some treatment options? Although there is no particular treatment for Asperger's syndrome, the most effective approaches are therapies that focus on improving poor communication skills, obsessive or repetitive routines, physical clumsiness. Other treatment options may include education and training for parents, social skills training, language therapy, specialized help in school for the child. What are students' legal rights for their special education? The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, of 2004 covers children ages 3 to 21 who are diagnosed with any of the following: mental retardation, hearing impairments, visual impairments, serious emotional disturbance, orthopedic impairments, autism, traumatic brain injuries, or other health impairments such as ADD or ADHD. What are students' legal rights for special education? Continued. To qualify for special education, an evaluation must determine 1. That the child has one of the covered disabilities, and 2. That the child needs special education or that the disability affects the education of the child. Are there any biological factors to getting Asperger's syndrome? There are no definitive research studies that point to a particular problem in the brain that can lead to autism or Asperger's syndrome. Are there any family factors that lead to Asperger's syndrome? Asperger's syndrome is not related to parenting practices or how a child is raised by his parents or her parents. As a teacher, how do I help my students? There are 5 domains that need to be addressed. These include communication skills, social interaction skills, sensory skills, behavior skills, and academic skills. First, we will talk about communication skills. What does the problem look like? Difficulty asking for help or figuring out what the task is. Easily confused by complex directions. Talking at the same time as others. Making statements that seem out of the blue. Saying things that seem disrespectful, inappropriate, or argumentative. How can I help? Break complex directions down into smaller pieces. Repeat instructions, being careful not to rephrase because the student may be processing your first request. Make clear, precise statements. Explain sarcasm, metaphors, idioms, and words with a double meaning. Help the student find a phrase or signal for when he or she does not understand directions. Next is social interaction skills. What does the problem look like? Inability to read facial cues or body language. Unable to pick up on verbal and nonverbal social cues. Difficulty in making small talk or conversation. Trouble understanding emotions of themselves and others. How do I help? Protect the student from bullying and teasing. Pair the student with a buddy who can act as a social mentor. Know the difference when he is isolated by choice and when he is isolated because peers won't include him. Explain Asperger's syndrome to the classmates. Help the student understand the use of humor. Next are sensory skills. What does the problem look like? Increase sensitivity to sound, light, taste, touch, and smell. A student with Asperger's syndrome is prone to notice the tapping of a pencil or the humming of the overhead fluorescent lights. Sensitivities may make her anxious, stressed, overreact. Difficulty staying focused because of sensitivities. The need to deal with the sensitivity quickly because she may get overwhelmed and overreact. How do I help? Predict sensory environmental changes and make the student aware of them before they occur, giving him or her the chance to prepare and adjust. Provide a personal, quiet space for the student to relax and collect his or her thoughts. Allow the student to have a calming item to use when experiencing sensory issues, such as a stress ball, worry rock, or something else. Behavior skills. What does the problem look like? Egocentric, easily annoyed, agitated, and impatient. Tendency to state exactly what is on his mind. Mood swings, withdrawn and unable to engage at times, and hyper at other times. A perfectionist, really hard on himself or others when a mistake is made. Inclination to get stuck thinking about a problem or special interest. How do I help? Model acceptance of the student for her peers. Don't take the student's comments personally. Use the student's special interest to engage her in conversation with the class discussion. Be consistent and clear in your expectations. Teach the student replacement behaviors for when he or she is frustrated, angry, or anxious. Next is academic skills. What does the problem look like? Strong in concrete subjects such as math and science, while weak in abstract areas such as language arts, unable to find the main idea because everything is important to him, avoiding a certain subject he is uncomfortable with or uncertain of, overstimulated by lengthy activities. What How do I help? Be calm, matter of fact, and predictable when teaching. Give materials or directions orally and visually. Use concrete examples when teaching. Use predictable classroom routines, rules, and expectations. Provide frequent positive feedback. Below is a list of where you can find information to help. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation on Asperger syndrome.